Nice quick video here to show you a really awesome device that can kind of save the day if you're trying to troubleshoot Christmas tree lights or outside Christmas lights that are out. Typically, if you have a string of lights and one of them goes out, they can really put the hurt on you if you're trying to locate the culprit. So this device here is kind of two tools in one. One is a device that will kind of track down where the break is, and the other device is a device that will kind of repair the bulb without you having to find which one it is. So that's going to require a little explanation here, so let me just try and do my best with this here. I don't know the exact terminology for this, but there's a device within each of these bulbs, and I want to call it a shunt. I may or may not be correct with that terminology, but what it does is it's supposed to keep the light or the current flowing through the bulb when the filament fails. In the old days, if you had a bulb and the filament failed on it, that bulb was out, and if you had a series circuit for your Christmas lights, it would take down the whole string. And that kind of holds true today. In a series circuit, if you get a break, that takes the whole thing down. So the only other way around it was to have a parallel circuit where each individual bulb had its own path to the electrical current and the voltage, but that requires about twice the wiring, so you can see why they don't want to do it that way. So what they've done is kind of a clever little trick. Typically when a bulb goes out, there's an associated spike in current and or voltage when that filament kind of flames out, and so they put a little bulb or a globule of material at the bottom or the base of the filament. I call it a bulb because it's kind of a bulb shape, but what it does is it sits there and it waits for that spike in voltage, and when it gets it, it will complete the circuit so that the current will continue to go through that bulb without the filament being there to do it. So I hope that explains it properly. If not, you can look this up on the internet. There's some explanations of that technology, but it's really kind of neat. At any rate, sometimes when these bulbs fail, they don't have an associated spike, or maybe there isn't a high enough spike in voltage or current to actuate that little shunt. So what happens is the filament goes bad, and then it breaks the circuit. So you'll get a whole section of lights that is dead now. So back to the tool here. Take it out of the slow. Keep it in the case because it's kind of a good place to put it. If you pull this trigger and you put your bulb into the end here, it can take and put an artificial spike of voltage through it in order to get that light to illuminate again. The other thing is you can do that for an individual bulb, but the neat thing is you can see the two receptacles here where my thumb is at. You can actually plug in a string of lights and pull this trigger, and it'll send that spike through and hopefully complete the circuit in the failing shunt, and you don't even have to know where the bad bulb is at. In that case, it'll just fix it by sending that spike through there and completing the circuit. And that's a permanent fix for that bulb. So until another bulb fails and doesn't properly shunt itself, then you're good to go. That doesn't always work, so that brings me to the second half of this tool, and it is, you can hear the beep, and there's a light telling you the battery's working. What you do is there's a coil in the end of this, or a piece of metal shaped in such a way, and I haven't cracked this open, but I pretty much guarantee there's a coil in the end of this to pick up the induction that occurs, the magnetic field that occurs around your light bulbs. So when you press this button and scan through, you're not going to get any movement or sound from this thing because the circuit is complete. But where you have a dead bulb, you're going to get that sound. So I'm kind of cheating the system to make that work right there, but I was able to locate within probably a foot or so where the bad bulb was. So if you've got a row of lights that extends, you know, any length, there's my my survivalist wood pile here too. You can see, just kind of, I don't know if you can even see that right now. It's pretty dark, but anyway, we don't have a ton of lights, but we have enough that this would be a real pain in the neck to try and isolate one single bulb. Because like I say, when the bulb goes out and the shunt doesn't work, you'll have a whole section out. I did find a bad outlet, and I kind of did a repair to that using some heat shrink and some zip ties. But what that was is I had one string plugged into the next, and either the plug or the receptacle failed, so I just kind of bypassed the thing. And it isn't worth spending a ton of time on Christmas lights because, you know, they're not that expensive. However, if you're not careful, you could spend a lot of money replacing these things unnecessarily. So I try and keep them going as long as I can, and when it gets to be a kind of a diminished return, I'll get a different strand of lights. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Again, it's one of these as seen on TV things, and it kind of looks like a little alien phaser gun, but I'll tell you what, it's not snake oil. It actually works, and there's some sound electric theory behind it. So hope that helps you guys. Have a Merry Christmas. If I don't talk to you before then, take care.